question. So maybe I can talk about how I actually um, even decided like to think about Tenny's work. It all started thinking about poetry itself and kind of giving a definition of poetry. And I couldn't really find um, one in contemporary Armenian literature. So I kind of decided that maybe I can create one based off of Tenny's works and her insights. And so they were, and I remember reading this on a first pass and just reading the poems and enjoying them for what they are, truly touching with just feeling them. However, the second time I thought that there is actually this insight, this deeper insight into these poems, and that I can probably, she most definitely had a definition. I hadn't met her, unfortunately, as Jesse said, so it was very um, unfortunate. But I did meet Jesse the summer that she did pass away while working at the Zohrab Centers. So maybe it was fate. So I just want to talk basically a couple of highlights from the essay that I did end up writing about how she ended up creating. And there was so I talk about creation, not just in words, but also the world where these words actually, um, these words occupy. So I do talk about how she was very deeply concerned about creation, not just for like writing words on a page, but really there was a world that she was creating. And that world really consisted um, of becoming a creator, but also becoming a dreamer in that world. And so, and dreaming really was another way of saying that she wanted to transcend the world from this world into this other world. And this idea is not only present, I mean, here she actually draws upon these European poets, one of which is Rilke. She was very much inspired by Rilke's work. And I remember corresponding with another artist, and this one artist recommended that I read Rilke's correspondences at the same time that I was planning on writing this essay. And it was maybe, again, fate that somehow these poems resonated so much with the Rilke's correspondences that just everything clicked together. And then there was also this other recommendation that I read Gaston Bachelard's work and um and how he talks about space and his perhaps magnum opus actually is read not only by poets but also by architects, um designers, um anyone who's interested in thinking about space. And for Tenny, this space uh was a cottage. So I bring forward this idea that using Bachelard's work, that this cottage, where, I mean, in Tenny's case, it would be her bedroom, right? More realistic terms, but how this cottage became her place of creation and how she created um, this world in it. And so, let me see. I'm uh, I want to read one of the works here. Um, This one I'm going to read in English. Yes. Um, the possibility never to awake. My life is this small room with books and meals and silences. Outside, all is glass. I was told every day, but suddenly the window opens and the world is there for me. And these voices, they are voices of today, yet I am powerless. I can't listen anymore to the dead voices, those old voices who fed my soul in that room. The living are here to speak, they whisper, to give you life. So speak, speak. I call from my room. The night comes like a dark mystery. Will the voices speak before the night? The waiting, the stillness, the possibility? Oh, torment, never to awake. So, along with this, she also had very a very she had this very aesthetic intuition. And really, it wasn't just all about glitzy, bright type of beauty, but also this deeper um, beauty. And so at one point, she talks about um, this bacteria particle and how there is beauty in that small thing that people usually ass- just say is ugly. And so that is another part where you can where uh Tenny has a clear aesthetic uh, pr mind. And so uh it's something that a lot of poets today, some poets at least, lack. And so she was very much concerned with, for example, Théophile Gautier's maxim, art for art's sake. It was a very, and she cites this in one of her poems too. And this maxim fueled a number of other aesthetes, such as Oscar Wilde, another of her um, favored writers, and one which was actually very much prominent in Armenian literature, including writers like Vahan Tekeyan and people like Manik Berberian, who was the daughter of the famous pedagogue Reteos Berberian, kind of loved Oscar Wilde. And there was this, I call it wild mania in Armenian literature in the beginning of the 20th century. And so um it's I wasn't surprised when Tenny seemed to like Oscar Wilde too. It was not a shock. And the way I actually read these poems ended up kind of thinking about a return to the classics. Kind of there's that where she really connects with the poets and writers of the early 20th century in Armenian literature and even in European literature, which was very nice. And coming to that idea, um, I mean, this is a big achievement, and someone as someone who came to the language very new, it is incredible to see that something of high quality as this can be produced, and it really attests to the strength of this creative literacy program that has come out of UCLA. And to finish, I want to actually read this other poem uh, marked here, and I actually where is it? Okay. It's called Musing, Medalov. And I want to read it in Armenian because really she was captured she was very much interested in two sounds in particular, the sound h versus the ch sound. And that will be very much that is very much present in this poem. And so let me end up reading this. Hove Այս հովը ձարերուն միջև գվազ է, ձաղի կգժպտի, փերանը մեղվի մը կփանա, երևակայև, որ ես այս ժպտող ձաղին վրա քրեթե գողեցի, այս վարգյանիս, եւ որ այդ մեղուն քրեթե ջզմեցի, հովը երեսիս, քլխարը գսքետնին, ու թեպի հողը նայեցա, հով, հով, հով հանգիստ անհոգություն խոհանոցը, Հովը խոհանոցին մեջ մայրիկիս փարերն է, արագ եւ վայրի, մորս փարերուն տակ արյուրը կթողա, սանին շոքին կծրվի, հով, հով, հով հանգիստ հոգ խոհանոց հոգնափեգ, ամեն օր հոգնափեգ պատմություններով թեմպկեր կտեսնեմ, Երեք տարի առաջ հոգնած կին մը քովես թանթաղ օրենքը քարեր, ու ես բնավ պիտի չմոռնամ իր սև աչքերը, երեսիս խորշոմները, ջերմակ փերանը, իր ջերմակ փերանը, թեր կփսփսա հովին, ու ես կսկամ իր բարերը, անոնք հիմա ծարերուն միջև կվազեն։ So, my last remarks would probably be that using this poem, this poetry, can be used as a model for creation, just as Hagop said. It's a model for creation such that you can take these poems, you can search for a meaning of poetry, you can adopt certain aesthetic principles, you can talk about themes just as she did, and you can write for the sake of loving Armenian versus writing Armenian purely so that you embrace your Armenian identity. I think that using language, you can embrace your Armenian identity, and I think that's what Tenny did. So thank you.